welcome back. Today we have ELLE magazine, May 2023, and on the cover, her pronunciation, I've heard it pronounced two ways, Megan Thee Stallion and Megan the Stallion. So I guess either is acceptable. But I was really kind of shocked at the quality of the cover. It's really approaching gicle quality. It's a very high print resolution. And I really have nothing but positive things to say about Nina Garcia ever since she's been at ELLE. This magazine continues to improve. So again, a shout out to Nina for a job well done. So let's get started. So here we have Zendaya, and this is a scuba knit for Louis Vuitton. There's a zipper that runs up the side, and it looks really, really nice. And this, let me see, yeah, it's a medium. That is a medium grade cardstock, and it's let's see, yeah. But anyways, I've always, over the years I've said this, if you were so inclined, you just score this with a razor or an X-Acto knife, and you can just go ahead and you could literally frame that, mount it on a wall. That is really worthy of framing. So congratulations to LV and their entire creative team who put this together. It's really well done. So here's Megan again. Looks really good. So another thing Nina has done. So the other magazines like Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, but maybe a couple years ago, there used to be one cover, and Harper's Bazaar and Vogue started putting a second cover in. It was like a different shot, and it was on medium cardstock, and it acted as a kind of a dual cover, right? And what it was is a subscriber got a different cover than the newsstand, and the one on the second or third page was the newsstand cover. And then they even started putting yet a third and different cover in there, again on medium cardstock. So you actually got like 3 covers in one magazine, and they were all frameable. But now what Nina has done, it's really kind of genius. And the first time I noticed it was with, I think, Gigi about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, with Mario Testino photographed her. And Gigi did it a couple of months ago, and then last month there was one, and I forget who the model was or the celebrity. And now Megan is doing this again for the 3rd consecutive month that I'm aware of. And it looks really good. So it's like right? So Nina has started this 2-page kind of alternate cover, and it looks fantastic. So again, nothing but positive things to say about Nina Garcia's leadership at this magazine. It's really good. Okay, we have Gal Gadot from the Wonder Woman series, looking just really... Is it? Yeah, that is Gal Gadot, I believe. She looks a little bit like Eva Longoria. It's kind of a tough call, but I think it is Gal. And this Tiffany's, it's almost like a robin's egg, or I think robin's egg leans a little bit more green. But this, I don't know if you would really call this a teal. The Tiffany, it's a little. Sometimes I see it photographed differently. From month to month, they never really get that shade or hue dead on. It seems to have a little variance from month to month. Here's a new model, and I don't know her name. She has kind of surfaced recently. She's got a wonderful look. Her jaw, she's got like this perfect jaw. And it's really kind of strange. I mean, not strange looking. It's really like just perfect, and it's just kind of hard to explain. But this is Dior, and they have been improving a lot over the last few months, or I should say few years actually, not months. So Dior is they're putting out wonderful advertisements, wonderful creativity. Here we have Chanel. Again, this is really well done. Just really well done. A lot of analysis really is necessary. Here we have Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner is the second from the youngest. Kendall is the youngest, and by Bruce Jenner, right? Or now Caitlyn Jenner. So the baby is Kendall, and then Kylie, and then above Kylie began all the, I shouldn't say began, but all the Kardashians. So she's the eldest Jenner. Okay, this I don't care for. Right, I can do without that. And here, it just, Paul Marciano, I mean, his work, and he's the co-founder of Guess. And I'm just gonna give you, I'm gonna give you like 30 seconds or so, just to study these photographs. So I'll remain quiet, and I really want you to study these. I mean, it's the height. I said this before. Guess is the summit of fashion photography. It doesn't get any better than that. It just doesn't. So this is cool. It's kind of strange that I would point this out. You see this once in a while. This model has kind of like a little turned up lip. And Miley Cyrus has this same upper lip. And you'll see that once in a very great while. And it's just so cute, that lip. Here, we've talked about this before. When you see something, it can conjure a memory or conjure something from film or a previous photograph or something. So this, when I saw this color temperature in this background, immediately I thought of the English Patient, right? This whole theme is just bringing forward the English Patient, and I thought that was kind of weird. How a photograph can just summon a memory, all the similarities. Here's Guess again. Just absolutely wonderful photography, modeling, the lighting. Just Paul Marciano, I swear, this guy is just indescribably wonderful when it comes to fashion photography. His choice of models is just, his work is just unparalleled, truly unparalleled. Here we have Sky Jackson. I think she was in some kind of Disney, you know how Disney kind of promotes, and they're kind of star makers for these young people. I think Bella Thorne and Miley Cyrus, and who else? There are Ariana Grande. There are just a hand, Britney. So there are many people who started young and who later became very successful. They made the transition from children into adult type of celebrity status, whether they're singers or dancers or actresses, actors, whatever. But Sky Jackson, she's one of them. She just has a wonderful look. And if she stays, even if she were to stay in the modeling kind of channel, she'll be very successful as a model. Okay, now this is where I credit that photographer, that 2-page, okay, Adrienne Raquel is the photographer's name, and that earlier 2-page near the beginning. So every photograph here is by Adrienne. Okay, I won't give a lot of analysis. It's not necessary. You can just look at the photographs here. Really well done. Oh, there's the same image. It's been replicated. Now that's so this one's been desaturated to a black. Let's go back just for giggles. Okay, this is the full color version. Okay, and they've opened it in Photoshop or Lightroom or Camera Raw, and they've just desaturated it. So what do you like better? Do you like the black and white version? Or do you like the color version? I'm kind of leaning toward the color version. I think it just brings this photograph to life, all this color, right? Especially her skin tone. It's marvelous. That's beautiful skin tone right here. And I think that, again, it's a nice image. I think it just doesn't offer as much as the color version. But again, to each his own. If you like the black and white better, of course, it's a personal call. Okay. Nice. Now here, I can give you the secret here. Not the secret, the technique. It's not a secret, for heaven's sake. But so there's just like a fashion gray paper. And the way to achieve this look, I'll help you out here. So this paper is on like a mount in this big studio. So this is a huge studio. It's very large. The paper is dropping vertically, and there's a radius in the paper. They never want the paper to turn into a 90-degree crease, right? You don't want to crease the paper from where the vertical meets the horizontal. So what happens is they put a gradual radius in the paper, and they just let it curve naturally, and then they bring it flat. Okay, and you'll see this in other, let's see, was it in this shot? Yeah, so it's the same here. So the photographer in both of these images, so what happens, the light is close to Megan, okay, and because of the inverse square law. So what happens is if you were to bring the light out, you have to juice the light up more. But what happens with the inverse square law, the light travels further, and the light would spill onto the paper in the back, okay, which is how most models are shot. Most models are shot with the paper illuminated. And the way you do that is you back your strobes out, the big studio flash units, you back them way out, you juice the power up so that you're striking the model, whatever EV you want, but you're illuminating the paper. Now, to get this, and to get this, you bring the lights in closer, okay, and you turn the power down. So what happens, the light falls off very rapidly. So the distance here between Megan and the paper, I would say I would leave about 8 to 10 feet. Okay, 8 to 10 feet, that's all you need. And then again, the strobe is close, right? You pop or whatever, EV. You have to turn the power down, right, as you move the light in. But what happens is the light falls off very quickly. And this is how you get this effect naturally. Now, they could have done this in post, right? It's achievable in post to do this. But if you want to do it naturally without any trickery, right, that's how you do it. I'm trying to hold back a sneeze. I can feel a sneeze coming because I don't edit my videos. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, I just don't edit my videos. I don't have time. I know it's kind of janky, but hey, it is what it is. I try to get these out, keep it real, okay? These are wonderful. I love all this color. These colors are just booming, and it's just what a wonderful, beautiful photographs. Let me see if I can credit the photographer here. Sharif Hamza. Sharif Hamza is the photographer, and it looks great. I mean, even the post-production, the Photoshop technician who edited these, I think the saturation and the vibrance, the exposure, the color temperature, the tint, everything about these photos is right. I mean, these photos are just leaping off this page. Wonderfully done. Again, beautifully done. Beautifully done. Wow. And I've never even heard of this photographer before. So I think this photographer is going to really start getting a lot of work because this work is excellent. Here, this kind of reminds me of in the United States, the college football team, the Florida Gators. That's the color scheme of the Gators. Okay. Beautifully done. Really excellent work. Wow, I'm actually just super impressed by the quality of these photos and the quality of the modeling. Look at how this model is creating these angles, right? Just excellent. Excellent makeup, the hair. I mean, the team. These are editorials. These are not. This is an editorial shoot, right? And it's just the whole team that put this together. Highest praise. Just really, really working. Wow. Just wow. Nina Garcia is just hitting it. I swear to you, I said this before. She has just whizzed past Samir Nasser over at Harper's Bazaar and Anna Wintour over at Vogue. She has just left those two magazines in the dust. And this ELLE now, ELLE is the premier magazine of the big eight of Hearst and Condé Nast. So again, congratulations to Nina because she's just doing a wonderful job. Here we have, this is like an old, it looks to me like it would be a movie set, right? One of the back lots of, Hollywood. Or like even out in the, not necessarily on the back lot, but you have to go out into the country a little bit, get outside of LA. And they used to have these types of kind of frontier towns that were owned by the studios, and they used to do their filming out there. They used to shoot all their westerns, and that's what it looks like. This is cool because they could have used, this photographer could have used HDR software to lift all this, right? We talked about this before. You take, in modern photography, if you have HDR software, you take 5 exposures. Your camera can rip off 5 exposures very quickly. You put the camera on a tripod, of course, because you want the same framing, same focus. But the camera does 5 bursts, right? And you can set the exposures like 1/3 of a stop in between, half a stop in between. And what happens is when you do that, it takes correct exposure. Let's say, for example, the middle one is correct exposure for this. And then it could take plus a half, and then yet another plus half, and then it takes a minus half, and then another minus half. And so then what happens is the software patches this all together. It lifts all this, and if there's any highlights, there's no highlights here. I don't see any highlights that are blown out that need to be taken down, but this definitely needs to be taken up. So you can actually, open this in HDR software, and you'd have to really lift these quite a bit to make what my point is, and I'm going long, my point is in modern HDR software, you could open this, and you could almost get it to the point where it looks like there are no shadows in the photo, or they're almost minuscule, right? But that's the power of modern HDR software. And here we've seen this many times. Dior ran this, J'adore. They ran this for years. It was golden. It was like a really nasty yellow. Maybe, I guess it's in the 2000 Kelvin. In the 2000, maybe 2500, 3000 Kelvin. And I said for years when I did these videos, I said, that color is way too yellow or golden, and it's horrible. And they finally lifted it. They changed it to a 5500 Kelvin. It's a daylight balance. And this photograph is much, much better than what it used to look like with that heavy, like incandescent bulb, the yellow bulb. Like, remember the old-fashioned yellow light bulbs? And today we use the modern daylight balance bulbs, and it gives off a true kind of like a neutral white light, right? and it's much more pleasant than those old yellow, nasty, incandescent bulbs. But my point is, when they lifted this to about 5,500 Kelvin daylight, this photograph is just now just extraordinary. And that's what happens when you open a photo, as I've said, in Lightroom or Camera Raw, and you tweak your color temperature, right? White balance, and you get it to the proper setting, a proper daylight setting. It makes all the difference in the world, just tweaking your white balance. Okay, that does it. And I just wanted to show you, though, like how thin this magazine is. And I said a couple issues ago, due to the heavy nepotism that's occurring in this industry, where the models are kind of a joke now. For the most part, there's like the models I've seen in here were actually quite good. But this is the result of all the nepotism in the fashion industry, that the magazines now are. And what they will tell you is that, oh no, we're not hurting. It's just we've gone digital. It's the digital online version is what we're concentrating on, and that's BS. The real story is that nobody's, I shouldn't say nobody, of course, but very few people now are subscribing and buying these. As a matter of fact, I've seen Vogue and Harper's Bazaar have disappeared. Now, I used to be able to find them at like Walmart and Target and even supermarkets. When I used to go to the supermarket, I could find Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. They're not there anymore. So my point is, this is the result of nepotism. So we're seeing the slow disappearance of these magazines due to nepotism. But again, I wanted to, whatever it's worth, Nina Garcia is trying to, right? She's trying to, do some, all she can to resurrect these magazines and give them some credibility, the credibility that they used to enjoy in the previous years. Nina is doing her best to resurrect the credibility of these magazines, to right all the wrongs that Anna Wintour has done over her 30-some year tenure. So I wish Nina the best, and maybe one day we'll see these start to get thicker again, if we see nepotism ever disappear from this industry. Okay, I know I went really long with that. I was kind of on a soapbox, so thank you for staying with me. If you enjoyed this, I would appreciate a thumbs up. And I have a treat for you coming up. I bought 4 issues of V. V magazine now is clearly, I think, the best in the world. ELLE is the best in the United States, but globally, V is the... No, wait a minute, V is out of the United States, so let me rephrase that. Out of the big 8, ELLE and is Condé Nast and Hearst. ELLE is the best, but globally, it's V, and I have 4 issues, and I'm going to go through them and mark them with these like bookmarks, and my next video should be of the V magazines. Okay, thank you.